Both of you. Yes, that was funny. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I had a little bit of a break because I was handling all the fun Black Friday stuff. Thank you to everyone who purchased the Made to Create bundle. I'm so excited for you. This last week, I did something kind of interesting. I did an Instagram poll and I asked if it would be a good YouTube video, and it was almost 100% said yes. One person voted no. I wanted to share with you today how I use AI, specifically ChatGPT, with paper planning as a Christian creator. Many of y'all know me on my channel as a planner girl. I am a die-hard paper planner girl. Actually, my paper planner is right here. I did a couple calls today. So this is my paper planner. It is a common planner and a B6 Slim. This is the horizontal and it's the full thick one. And I've used a lot of pages. I have lots of videos on how I use my paper planner. I'm a pretty big purist with my paper planner. I am just now starting to use Google Calendar for my business because it's just helpful. Unfortunately, with my paper planner, I can kind of get stuck just like a week. I can kind of see my month, but like planning things quarters out or a year out, that's really difficult for me to do in my paper planner. So I broke down and I started putting things into Google Calendar. You can see super far out when your promotions are, when you want to run sales, stuff like that. So I do own a creative business and I am a Christian content creator. I have my Joy Revival program. I have my podcast called The Joy Revival. I post YouTube videos here. I post a lot on Instagram. I have a lot of content that I'm managing. I'm a one-person team. It's just me. It's just me right now. I decided to try to train a project folder inside AI. I've been using AI for a little bit, but with some major grounding rules. When I'm doing anything with planning, because I'm a Christian, it is always discernment with the Holy Spirit first. And then I look to AI for any sort of help. Like that's my strategy. There's a verse in Proverbs that says, a man makes plans, but the Lord orders his steps. That is always how I have approached my planning, is that I do make plans. And I think it's important to make plans. I have an entire course called Plan Your Peace that you should be making plans. But I am a Christian and I believe that the Lord speaks to me about everything as far as like what would be the best thing to do for my life. And so he is the one that's ordering my steps. So a lot of times my plans get, I wouldn't say messed up, they get an upgrade because he knows way better than me and what I should be doing in my life at any moment. I have a personal tension with artificial intelligence being a Christian, and I really want to stay sensitive to the Holy Spirit. I do not want to outsource discernment or asking the Lord specific questions about my life. And so I have given myself a protocol, a grounding protocol. I actually have a grounding protocol inside ChatGPT. I have to always ask myself, what is God's role in this and what is the tool's role? There's two very different things. There is a real living God in my life who has good for me in store. It says that he works all things out for my good. And then there's a tool that I have that saves a lot of time. And so I really have to be careful because this tool can often sound like a human. It can read like a human. You could easily be sucked in to it making decisions for you that it really shouldn't be. And that's every single person's personal conviction between them and God. For me, I feel that it's very important for me to stay anchored in my relationship with God. And I have other opinions about artificial intelligence and the end of the world and things like that, but I'm not going to not use it as a tool. I just want to have major discernment. And there's already been a couple times where I feel Holy Spirit tell me, don't do that or do that. In regards to like writing, I have to do a lot of writing for content creation. And so I trained it with 10 years of writing samples from me. So they were my writing samples that I had worked on for over 10 years in my files. I trained it. So it pretty much sounded just like me. No M dashes. I used it a bit. And what the Lord told me was that you're going to atrophy your skill of writing if you use this. Like you have to keep using your muscle of writing. Just like I go to the gym and I am constantly trying to increase weight, I'm constantly putting my muscles under tension and doing the hard thing so that I stay strong. I have got to do the hard thing of writing. I have to stay in my writing with the Lord so that it doesn't atrophy, so I don't lose that skill. So that's one of the examples of like where he's like, nope, you're not going to use it for that anymore. And the other thing that is like a strict no-no for me is that idea generation has to come from my heart and it has to come from the Lord. Like most of the time it comes from, like I said, I'm a Christian and content creator. So most of the time it comes from my times with the Lord and the Word. AI is not the Holy Spirit. Like that's just what I want you to walk away with today is AI is not Holy Spirit. It's a tool that speeds things up. It can research. It's amazing at pulling out patterns and things, and it's awesome at organizing information. And that's what I use it for. I use it as a tool, as an assistant, really. In fact, I did a voice memo of what I wanted this video to be like with all of my ideas. I just fleshed it out in my speaking, and I gave the transcript to the ChatGPT and I said, I would like my outline for this. So a lot of times I use it in that way. It's still me, it's still my voice, but I have very, very clear boundaries about what I use it for and what I don't. So my breakthrough in the part of planning, because I am a paper planner, but I am starting to kind of migrate over to a digital calendar for my business. I had this aha moment. I do these things, I do these brain dumps. A lot of people know what a brain dump is. Every Sunday, I have this thing called an Alpha Smart. It's like the 80s version of a free write. So free write basically just took an Alpha Smart and made it cool and made it a lot easier to put the file onto another device. So I actually have it over here. This is my Alpha Smart and I got it on eBay for like $100 when I was looking for a free write to buy. But the free write is the Traveler one, the one that I wanted was $500 and I just can't. I can't see myself spending that much. So this is my little Alpha Smart. It is strictly a word processor. So you type on these keys, which have this, it has the most wonderful tactile feeling and it just puts words on the screen. And it's really great because you're not going to get distracted as much. A lot of times I'll have this in the morning after my Bible reading time and I just type different things that are coming into my mind, different ideas. But on Sundays, I will do a brain dump on this. And it's very stream of conscience-y. So I put all of the things I can think of for the upcoming week in there, including appointments that I have coming up, including how I feel about the tasks even. Like it's just a big hodgepodge. It's just a big hodgepodge of a mess. But it's a brain dump. That's exactly what a brain dump is. I spent 2 hours this last Sunday training Chat to come up with project folder instructions. In ChatGPT, if you have I don't know which one y'all have. I have the paid version. I pay like $20 a month for it. But if you have the free version, I think you can still do this. You're just going to be limited by how many prompts you can ask it. But you have GPTs, which are like these little expert chats that you can use, and some people make them and they're shareable. So like I could make my project folder instructions a GPT and then share it with people. But if you're only wanting it for yourself, which is for me, like I only wanted it for myself, then you can actually train a project folder. So I have lots of folders in my chat, and I would highly recommend Julie Chenell's second brain workshop. It was so helpful for me because that's what she uses it as too, as a second brain. And that's what I use it for. Like I sometimes forget things and it's really nice to be able to like, what did I have to do in 2 weeks or whatever? And it'll pull it up immediately. So it's just really helpful. It's like having a little assistant that doesn't forget anything. What I trained it to do this last weekend was to extract tasks from my brain dump, to filter out all the emotional processing that's in there. I trained it to ask me clarifying questions like, are these all the appointments that you have for this week? It asks me, is there anything this week that would make your energy lower to where you wouldn't get as much productivity done? It asked me if I was on my cycle. And I was blown away that it even asked me that question because I just trained it to be aware of my energy levels, and it thought up to ask me that. That would be super helpful though. Like if you were, on your time, for me, I get like super wiped for that time of the month. And so it definitely would be helpful to extend yourself a bit of grace. The other thing I had it do was categorize tasks by the amount of energy it would take for me to complete the task. So if it's like a high energy thing, like I need high energy, or I need a high focus for it, or I can need medium focus for it, or low focus. And like I said before, what this has done for me is it's helped me to get all these loops out of my head into one spot. When I remember something, I keep feeding it into the folder, into the chat, and I'll just keep giving it things, and it'll say, do you want to do that this week or do you want to save it for later? And I can tell it what I want, which is like a really nice assistant. And then at the end of the week, I say, please summarize week 49 so I can load this into the beginning of week 50. It will tell me everything that I've done that week, which is super satisfying, by the way. Gold star. Like I want to put gold stars on all of my things. And then it'll give me what I still need to do and load it into the following week, and it'll start over. Do you have any appointments this week? Do you have anything that's low energy? Maybe I injured myself. Like right now I'm kind of injured from working out. So I can say, yeah, I have my piriformis is flaring up again. It definitely has reduced overwhelm for me. You still are deciding your schedule. So I can still live in my week in my paper planner, but I'm not losing the things in my head that I need to be thinking about way in the future for my business. I am actually going to be doing an entire lesson about this inside of Plan Your Peace. I don't have a landing page right now for Plan Your Peace. Like I'm slowly getting things done into my new software, but I do have a cart if you're interested in that course. And what I'm going to be doing is doing a more in-depth lesson in how I actually go about, like show you exactly how I go into the chat and use it. And I'm going to give those project instructions to the students. So if you're interested in that course, that will be coming soon as like a little extra bonus. The course is like almost 10 years old. The principles still work, especially if you're in a paper planner. Like the principles are great. The journaling gives you a lot to think about. And really, if I boil the whole course down, it's not a time problem. It's a you problem. I'm sorry, but it is. We choose to make time for the things that we value. And that's really boiled down. That is what Plan Your Peace is, but it goes through every single step to help you figure out, this is where I'm spending time when I really value this, but I'm making more time for this. So it's a good course, and I'm going to have that AI lesson in there soon. One last note, if you want to do this, it's super easy. Just go into chat and just start talking to it and ask it, I want to create a weekly brain dump project folder instruction, and then ask me some questions of what would be helpful for you. This is what I did at the very, very beginning. I asked chat to ask me questions so that it could be trained the best for these different project folder instructions. And it takes some time, but when you feel like it's about right, then you can say, okay, now I want this to be instructions for my project folder, and it will give you exactly what you need to put in there. You copy it and then you paste it into those settings. And this is a little bit different, like nerdy technical planning video, but it's very, very helpful if you really want to not lose anything that's looping around in your head. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today, and I will see you later. Bye.